Utah Constitution provides for this kind of initiative, particularly where it is very obvious, at least to me, in my opinion, that people are ignoring what I believe to be very basic ethics in the most, what I would consider the most powerful governmental body in the state, being our legislature. I remember an essay that I had to read in my English class in college. It was written by a guy named John Milton, and it was called Areopagitica. And it was a...
Now, wait a minute, Kevin. A guy named John Milton?
Yeah.
That's an interesting
kind of an
introduction to a great poet.
That's right. Great poet and philosopher, and at one time was the equivalent of the Secretary of State for the English crown. It came at a time when, of course, Cromwell and his Commonwealth were fighting against the kingdom, and there was great conflict in England. But he wrote this essay as though he were addressing the legislature of Greece. And in it he was talking about censorship, or the withholding or the manipulation of information being put out by the government, and also being written by people who were objecting to things that were happening in England at the time. And he said that you do not want any person to be a censor who wants the job. And on the other hand, the person that you want to have in that job is someone who really doesn't want to do it himself, just because of the difficulty and the positions that they find themselves in, trying to make this kind of review and decide for others what they should hear and what they should read. I think that our legislature is very much in the same position. As an interested student of the Utah legislature, I've become much more interested, though, in the last month or so since being informed of this proposition. I remember that there are very few people in the legislature that control rules committees and who determine what bills will actually come out of the rules committee for examination or discussion among different committees, and particularly what's going to come up for a vote. So I see that same concept playing out within the legislature. So once again, it's quite troubling to me. I don't claim to be the guy who has all the answers. I do claim to be a guy with many questions and with an uneasy feeling when I hear about this. This proposition, as I've listened to David explain it, is not for us to argue for the legislature to determine whether it will be passed, but it's rather a petition gathering signatures of people who wish to have this ethical conduct initiative go forward. So that's one thing. A second thing that I think about it, I've read the names in the newspaper today, in the Salt Lake Tribune. It was talking about the people who came together to write this petition, and I recognize them as people from both sides of the aisle, and people of diverse interests, and people who, even though I haven't always agreed with on issues, I respect them, and I remember that they are articulate and I believe well informed, and I believe they have my best interests at heart, and I was grateful to have read who those people are. And many of them, in fact I don't think any of them are in the legislature anymore, but they're people who I remember.
Including David.
Yes. And so anyway, that was powerful to me. So I do hope that this educational process we're going through now and coming to these public hearings, and in also moving forward, I as a volunteer wish to go out and collect signatures and hope to be able to communicate as best I can with the people that I know, not only in this county but in other places, what I feel about what is being proposed here. I believe it is a reaction that has tremendous support behind it. I believe that as people become more and more informed, that they will get behind it as well. And I'm surprised to read where legislators and also other governmental leaders would not give it much credence at this point. But anyway, I see that as coming. I see Utah's populace becoming a different animal. The demographics of the state have changed, and I believe that there are many well-informed people, people who have come with good educations, and I believe that they will be influential as this moves forward. And I guess we've got more than a year for it to move ahead.
Until April to gather signatures, but I can talk about that in a minute. Do you want to wind up with what your mom used to say? I love that.
Well, I think you're talking about the initiative word.
What initiative is it?
Yeah, she always used to drum that into we three boys. She said that initiative is doing the right thing for the right reason without being asked. And whether or not I apply that in my life, I remember those words. And it was powerful too. But anyway, I'm grateful for the chance to comment.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank
Did you give your title and your county and city of residence?
Well, my name is Kevin Clyde, and my county residence is Grand County, and I'm a citizen, and I also own a business.